Titanic has many unforgettable scenes, but one in particular strikes out as eerie, devastating, and ageless. The "I'll never let go" sequence is more than just about love or loss. It's the emotional high point that elevates Titanic from an epic film to a cinematic masterpiece. But what gives this scene such power? Is it the acting? What about the music? What deeper symbolism lies beneath the frozen water? Today we'll look at how this single moment cemented Titanic's place as one of the greatest films of all time. The "I'll never let go" sequence from Titanic is the film's emotional finale. After the ship sinks, Jack and Rose find themselves in the frigid Atlantic Ocean. Leonardo DiCaprio is an award-winning American actor known for his versatility and powerful performances. He gained global fame as Jack Dawson in Titanic 1997, which became one of the highest-grossing films of all time. Beyond Titanic, DiCaprio has starred in critically acclaimed films like Inception, The Wolf of Wall Street, and The Revenant, for which he won his first Academy Award. With his talent, charisma, and dedication to environmental activism, DiCaprio remains one of Hollywood's most influential stars. Kate Winslet, a British actress, is noted for her dramatic and passionate performances. She rose to international prominence for her role as Rose DeWitt Bukater in Titanic 1997, which established her as one of Hollywood's top performers. Winslet has since appeared in notable films such as The Reader, for which she received an Academy Award, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, and Steve Jobs. She is still regarded as one of the industry's most recognized performers, known for her flexibility and dedication to complicated characters. Jack puts Rose on a floating wooden door, but stays in the water, knowing there isn't enough room for both of them. As they wait for rescue, Jack comforts Rose, encouraging her to persevere and never give up. Jack ultimately succumbs to the cold and dies. Rose, heartbroken, pledges, "I'll never let go, Jack," before releasing his lifeless corpse into the waves. This moment exemplifies love, sacrifice, and the devastating consequences of the tragedy. The scene is set in the frigid waters of the Atlantic Ocean after the Titanic has sunk. The scene is gloomy and ominous, with only the moonlight and reflections of the water for illumination. Other passengers lie dead in the freezing waters around them, adding to the eerie atmosphere. Jack and Rose discover a floating door. Jack pulls Rose onto it, but he stays in the water. They try to balance together, but it's evident there isn't enough space for both. Jack chooses to stay in the ocean, securing Rose's survival. Jack shivers fiercely, but he remains focused on Rose, consoling her despite his own pain. Jack and Rose are shown floating in the freezing ocean after the Titanic has sunk. The close-up view of Rose grasping Jack's hand underlines their emotional bond and desperation. Low angles and over-the-shoulder shots add intimacy, letting the audience feel like they are right there with them. Jack grabs Rose's hand, assuring her that she will survive. "You're gonna get out of here. You're gonna go on, and you're gonna make lots of babies, and you're gonna watch them grow. You're gonna die an old lady warm in your bed. Not here. Not this night." This is Jack's final act of love, giving Rose the fortitude to carry on. Rose responds, frantic and tearful, but Jack encourages her to persevere. Cool blue tones dominate the landscape, mirroring the chilly conditions and heightening the sensation of melancholy. Dim moonlight lighting creates a delicate shine on their faces, representing waning optimism. Rose's warm skin tones contrast with Jack's pallid, almost lifeless countenance, emphasizing his gradual demise. As the night passes, Jack succumbs to hypothermia. His motions are slow, his voice feeble, and his eyes barely open. The heartbreaking moment approaches. Rose tries to wake Jack, but he has already left. She says, "I love you, Jack." She grabs his hand, refusing to accept reality. Slow, steady camera movements add to the moment's solemnity and poignancy. The camera lingers on Jack's face, capturing his final moments while underlining the emotional gravity. A tiny downward tilt as Jack sinks heightens the audience's sinking experience. Rose's big, watery eyes and trembling lips express anguish and disbelief. Jack's weak, frozen gestures demonstrate his acceptance of fate while remaining devoted to Rose. The physical contrast, Rose clinging to the wooden debris as Jack is submerged, accentuates the sad irony. A lifeboat appears in the distance, and Rose realizes she must act to survive. She says to Jack, "I'll never let go," implying that she will keep his memory forever. In a heartbreaking yet romantic moment, she lets go of Jack's hand, letting him sink into the waves. Rose then swims to a frozen officer's whistle and blows it fiercely to signal the lifeboat, saving her life. The floating debris serves as a physical and metaphorical barrier to life and death. Rose's release of Jack's hand contrasts with her remarks, "I'll never let go," implying that while she must let go physically, she will always hold him in her heart. Jack gradually sinks into the depths, symbolizing both death and the weight of fate. This scene marks the pinnacle of Jack and Rose's romance. Throughout the film, Jack encourages Rose to embrace freedom, live fully, and break free from the social constraints of her upper-class upbringing. His ultimate sacrifice assures that she has the opportunity to accomplish just that. Jack begins as a carefree dreamer who believes in fate and adventure. In his final moments, he fulfills his position as Rose's savior, guaranteeing her survival at the expense of his own life. Rose initially limited by society's standards, Rose grows into a survivor. Jack's death solidifies her determination to live in his memory and on her own terms. Before we dig deeper and understand the scene better, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button to make sure that you get similar breakdowns of exceptional movie scenes. It would mean a lot to us. This sequence embodies some of Titanic's main themes that are love and sacrifice, where Jack puts Rose's survival before his own, confirming the notion that true love is unselfish. Then comes the survival versus fate, where while Jack perishes in the icy water, Rose's survival reveals a brutal unpredictability in fate that is, some live, some die, regardless of love. It also revolves around memory and legacy, where Rose's promise, "I'll never let go," is about keeping Jack's soul and dreams alive in her future. This sequence is profoundly painful because it undermines the audience's expectations. Rose promises she'll never let go, but then physically releases Jack's hand. The irony here is poignant. She must let go physically, yet emotionally clutches onto him for life. The audience, like Rose, badly wants a different outcome, but Jack's fate is sealed. His peaceful acceptance of mortality contrasted with her despair, increasing the emotional impact. James Cameron employs narrative methods to heighten the emotional impact. Jack repeatedly begs Rose to live. "You're gonna die an old lady, warm in your bed." This moment fulfills the prophecy. The concept of letting go throughout the film, Rose gets leave of her old life, then must let go of Jack physically, but never emotionally. At the end, the elder Rose confesses that she fulfilled Jack's wish. She lived a full life, demonstrating that his influence remained with her. Rose's transformation enters its ultimate stage after Jack's death. After being saved, she takes his surname, Dawson, indicating that she carries his spirit with her. This sequence propels the story ahead, setting up the film's dramatic conclusion. Titanic's "I'll never let go" moment is a masterwork of sound design and music composition, employing a delicate mix of orchestration, stillness, and natural noises to heighten emotional effect. James Horner's original score sets the tone with a delicate rendition of Rose's theme, which appears throughout the film. The score is mostly composed of soothing piano and string sounds, which evoke a deep sense of loss and desire. The music remains delicate and restrained, enabling the rawness of the moment to shine through. Rather than overwhelming the audience with a dramatic surge, the soundtrack lingers softly in the background. reflecting the silent tragedy of Jack's final moments. As the action develops, the music gradually rises to a delicate emotional climax, as Rose murmurs, "I'll never let go." This restrained crescendo captures both the grief of loss and the bittersweet promise of recollection. One of the most noticeable aspects of the sound design is the utilization of quiet and natural diegetic sounds. The ocean, now strangely peaceful following the tumult of the sinking, provides a haunting backdrop, its silence underlining the loneliness of the situation. The near absence of background noises isolates Jack and Rose, making the scenario feel even more intimate and unsettling. The sound of the frigid water lapping against the wooden debris, combined with Rose's rapid breathing and chattering teeth, emphasizes the physical pain and desperation of the situation. Jack's frail and failing voice is given in a calm but resigned tone, in contrast to Rose's shivering, passionate delivery. His words, "You must do me this honor. Promise me you'll survive," convey a quiet yet unwavering strength, emphasizing the notion of unselfish love and sacrifice. The scene's emotional impact is heightened by Jack's death. As he succumbs to the cold and loses consciousness, there is no abrupt, dramatic musical cue. Instead, the picture pauses for a poignant moment of quiet despair. When Rose lets go of Jack's hand, the soft score swells briefly, representing the finality of his death, before returning to a sorrowful, lingering tone. The sound of his body falling into the water is scarcely audible, but profoundly effective. It's a subtle yet heartbreaking reminder of his fate. This modest deviation intensifies the scene's pain, as it avoids over-the-top melodrama in favor of a realistic and highly intimate picture of loss. The scene is about Rose choosing to live, carrying Jack's memories with her, and keeping the commitment she made to him. The sequence's music design perfectly complements this transition, as the melancholy tones fade into the next shot, which depicts Rose's survival, symbolizing both her loss and tenacity. The "I'll Never Let Go" sequence is an excellent illustration of how music and sound can enhance storytelling. The combination of music, silence, and diegetic sounds provides an intensely immersive and emotionally terrible experience. James Horner's score never overpowers the scene, but rather complements the acting and photography, making it one of the most moving and memorable moments in cinema history. The "I'll Never Let Go" scene in Titanic is a cinematic classic that expertly blends visual storytelling, music, sound design, and narrative depth to produce an unforgettable emotional experience. Every element, from the symbolism of Jack's sacrifice to the delicate, melancholy melodies of James Horner's score, works together to express the themes of love, grief, and survival. The scene's use of quiet and diegetic sound heightens its reality, making Jack's death feel excruciatingly private, while the restrained orchestral composition keeps the moment genuinely personal rather than over-dramatized. Beyond its technical perfection, this scene serves as the film's emotional and conceptual finale, concluding both Jack and Rose's character arcs. Jack's noble sacrifice solidifies his role as Rose's protector, whilst Rose's promise to survive represents her transformation into a woman who can now live on her own terms. The irony of her words, "I'll never let go," said immediately before she physically releases him, reinforces the film's fundamental notion that while we must physically let go, love and memories last forever. Ultimately, this scene remains one of the most dramatic and impactful moments in cinematic history, not just because of its heartbreaking story, but also because of the superb way in which sound, music, and cinematography heighten its emotional impact. It's a monument to the power of storytelling through sound and quiet, demonstrating that often the most important moments are not the loudest, but the quietest. Did you enjoy the video? Please go through our channel to find more interesting breakdowns of famous scenes of brilliant movies. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye.